Coming up, we'll be clearing up the confusion over another lockdown in Spain. We're taking you behind the scenes into a state-of-the-art hotel kitchen, and then we're enjoying a night out at the fabulous Benidorm Palace.
Hi everyone, Michelle Baker here, creator of these Benidormforever videos, which we make so that you can keep in touch with our fabulous resort from wherever you may be. Please share them with anyone you know that misses Benidorm and tell us what you miss, and we'll try and include it in a future video.
There has been little movement in terms of arrivals this week in Benidorm, as the quarantine ruling in the UK is still in place. But Benidorm is as beautiful as ever, and although quieter than a normal August, there are still plenty of people around, especially on the other side of town in the Poniente area, where there are lots of holiday apartments owned by people from other parts of Spain. But Benidorm businesses have once again been dealt a harsh blow, brought about by a local English newspaper running a misleading headline, causing further damage to our already fragile economy. The headline read, "Spain set to lockdown Friday the 18th of September", and although the claims were unsubstantiated and not reported in any Spanish news, within hours the word had spread back to the UK and the damage had been done, with people once again cancelling their holidays at the very time we were hoping to have regained their confidence. So just to be clear, there is no evidence to suggest Spain is going back into lockdown, and to predict such a thing 5 weeks in advance is impossible and irresponsible. If anything, there would be localised restrictions, because the economy needs to be kept going, and Benidorm is statistically a very safe place, and the measures in place to keep you safe are ongoing. Just to recap, you are required to wear your mask in all public places, but not in bars or restaurants once you're seated, and not on the beach or by the pool. You must hand sanitise at the entrance to every establishment and respect social distancing at all times. And if you're staying at a hotel, the level of hygiene goes above and beyond. Take the Hotel Presidente for example. Now, regular viewers will remember we've reviewed this hotel before, showing off their state-of-the-art technology to keep guests safe. At the Presidente, they also deep clean and disinfect the bedrooms between uses, but it's what goes on in their kitchens that has most impressed me. And interestingly, almost all of these procedures were standard way before any of us had heard of COVID-19. I absolutely love going behind the scenes for sneaky peeks in hotels, seeing how things work in an area normally off limit to guests. Let's face it, most of us take it all for granted when we stroll into the hotel dining room and casually glance at what's on the menu, but you wouldn't believe the procedures that are involved, but you're about to find out. Head chef Paco has worked in hotel kitchens for more than 2 decades and proudly showed us around his domain, from storerooms to fire sprinklers, that Presidente has the best. The first thing Paco pointed out was that the whole room, even the ceiling, is stainless steel, which guarantees the most hygienic environment to prepare your holiday food. Also worth noticing is the temperature. It's illegal to have air conditioning in kitchens, so normally working in a kitchen in Spain in August can be purgatory, but Paco explained the careful climate control at the Presidente allows the air temperature to work at a comfortable 23 degrees in the general area, with divided areas working at different temperatures depending on the food being prepared. For example, when we arrived, Paco was making chicken in breadcrumbs wearing a body warmer, because chicken needs to be prepared at a much cooler temperature than his colleague who is cooking today's soup. Meat, fish and dairy have to maintain a constant temperature, so Paco has to dash out to the delivery trucks with the thermometer in hand to ensure the produce arrives at the correct temperature before it even enters the building. And deliveries arrive all day long because everything is prepared fresh on the day. For example, this chicken arrived this morning and will be on the buffet at lunchtime. Foods are carefully logged on arrival and segregated and stored and prepared using colour codes to avoid cross-contamination. When food is being moved around, it's kept covered, and once it's been taken out to the buffet, just in case you're wondering, it can't be stored again for later. Although it creates a lot more work for the staff who must divvy up the portions and cling film them, and yes, a cake doesn't look quite so pretty once portioned as it does as a whole, but I for one am delighted to not have to share serving spoons, and I find you do tend to eat less with portion control. Furthermore, the chefs constantly know how many guests they're catering for, how many have eaten and how many are still to arrive, so they can guesstimate food preparation and reduce waste. Some self-operated equipment like the ice cream machine is still permitted with the use of gloves. Others, like the juice machine, is now operated by the kitchen staff. When the Hotel Presidente is running at full capacity, it's mostly catering for British guests. So what is the Brits' favourite dish? Is it fish and chips? Chicken curry? Roast dinner? No, it's steak pie. And at the Presidente they serve around 400 portions of steak pie when it's on the menu, together with 50 kilos of potatoes. That's 110 pounds of potatoes in old money. They also rustle up 1,000 Yorkshire puddings to go with their roast beef. And at breakfast, guests typically get through 500 eggs, 66 pounds of bacon and a whopping 15 catering cans of beans. And it takes a team of 14 dedicated members of kitchen staff to prepare your meals. So for those of you like me that like to know their food is being prepared in the best possible conditions, you can rest assured the Presidente have got it spot on. In fact, the health inspector recently congratulated the Presidente on their last inspection, and considering the Valencian region has the most strict hospitality kitchen rules in Spain, that's a badge you want to wear loud and proud. And this is just one more reason why the Hotel Presidente is genuinely my favourite hotel in Benidorm, and it's where I recommend my family stays too. But don't take my word for it. If you want to try it for your next stay, book direct with the hotel, tell them that you've heard about it thanks to Benidormforever, and they'll give you an extra 5% discount. Last weekend, the iconic Benidorm Palace reopened, and it was such a welcoming, positive sight to see the twinkling lights so familiar for so many years, but so absent for too many months. Since it opened in 1977, the Benidorm Palace has been a legendary Benidorm landmark and a much-loved holiday must-do. And whilst the decision to reopen came at exactly the same time as Mundo Mar and Aqualandia opened, they would be closing, must have been a tough one for the family who run the palace. We're so glad they did, as it has provided a beacon of hope in a week of somewhat negative news. To see the guests queuing outside the box office was indeed a welcome sight, and as you can see, all the requisite measures are in place to ensure our safety. And whilst you are required to wear your mask whilst moving around the palace, once you're seated you can enjoy the evening the same as always, with or without the meal. Aqua is the show still on the billing, with an amazing collection of talents, but with some impressive technical and lighting upgrades that the palace have invested in over the lockdown. The dancers, for which the palace is famous for, are absolutely brilliant, and the triple cinema-style background screens bring the whole show even more to life. All in all, we had a fantastic evening and can thoroughly recommend a night at the Benidorm Palace when you're next here. Next week, we're having a week off from making a Benidormforever video, as I need to concentrate on the opening of our Orange Grove campsite. Regular viewers will remember we built the site from scratch but were forced to close around 5 years ago, but recently obtained our permission from the Valencian government to reopen. There are lots of campsites in and around Benidorm, as so many people like to come here all over the winter. Orange Grove is much smaller, we don't have the fancy facilities of the big sites, but that is reflected in our price. Our small and friendly site is located just behind lovely Albia, so if you're local, please pop in and say hello, and if you're looking for a budget campsite close to Benidorm, go to orangegrovecamperpark.com.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. As you can see, we all have to multitask here, especially in these tough times. So to help us continue on our journey, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.